welcome to Keys and Conversations. Today the conversation is going to be between me and Anil. We don't have a guest on the show today. I thought it's high time we did a bit of catching up.
And I became a guest.
And I thought I should ask you all those conventional questions, you know, when did you start learning, who was your first guru and so on. So the format of the show is going to be this: one question, an answer and a piece.
Can the answers be musical?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the theme of today's show is going to be Chopin.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but we'll talk about him a little later. Like I said, I want to ask you all those formal, cliche, conventional questions. When did you first start learning music?
I started playing the piano when I was 3, and the urban legend is that I walked up to a piano which was in my school, Vidya Mandir, and I just asked to play on the piano that used to be there in the nursery, and my nursery piano teacher became my first piano teacher, and then I just stuck to the piano pretty much. So the story is that I started by myself at the age of 3. I don't remember this, but that's what I know.
But most good South Indian parents would have wanted their son to either learn the violin, mridangam or vocal. So how did Malini auntie and Srinivasan uncle encourage you towards this instrument?
I will have to say that my parents, I genuinely am very grateful to them. Not just because of what you said, but also because I think for them, it never was a question of whether to do this or that. I think they saw that I was naturally going towards the piano, and they didn't think twice about not encouraging that. My father's friend, one Mr. G. Ramanathan, had a piano at his house, and he encouraged me to come and play there. And he gifted me my first piano. So my father's friend's piano is still the one which is in my living room that you've seen. It's Raunish upright. And my parents are, even till today, they keep encouraging me to learn more and more.
They're very liberal minded.
Very liberal.
Very. The time for a piece.
Okay.
So did you ever rebel like most young children who don't want to learn music and dance? Did you have problems?
Actually, I used to rebel if piano class was cut. And I mean, of course, I've done normal child things like pretend that I had fever to skip class when I hadn't practiced enough and things like that. But in general, I wanted to, in fact, at the age of 11, I decided that I wanted to learn Carnatic music formally myself. And again, it was a self-motivated volition, and I spoke to my mother, and for some strange reason, I said I want to learn the veena, and I'm so grateful for that because I did study the veena for a very brief while. I'm coming back to it now, and I think the fact that my family background, in terms of really the background was Carnatic music, because both my parents have trained in Carnatic music, was always there. My first teacher was Meena Radhakrishnan, who was the daughter-in-law of Anil Srinivas. So I think there was always Carnatic music in the background. So I'm very glad that.
And your first piano teacher was Anna Abraham.
After Meena ma'am was Anna Abraham.
And then you went off abroad, Anil. You went to do management studies first or music first?
I went to do management studies first, but wherever I have been, I have maintained that music has found me. Either in the form of performers who've come and stayed with me, and in my apartment in New York used to be like a general hangout for all the visiting musicians, or in the form of education itself, and I got to do some very exciting residencies while at Columbia University and at Juilliard, which is the school for music. And once I had a roommate who was a classical contemporary Western composer called Michel Langmann, who's a German. And he and I used to work on a lot of pieces together. So I cannot imagine anything more wonderful than going so far away to study something else, but then having a piano in my apartment and doing nothing more than music most of the time. My management suffered quite a bit.
Time for a piece. Are we playing all Chopin now?
We're playing all Chopin, and the first piece that I played was a snatch from a prelude in E minor, which he composed when he was dying. The second piece was a waltz in C sharp minor, which again I played a snatch of, and I've made some modifications to it because I changed some of the notes. What I'm going to play now is a nocturne, which is also a format that Chopin developed. A little bit about that more later.
When we come back after the break, we're going to talk more about this great musician, Frédéric Francois Chopin, only on Keys and Conversations.
Yeah, I'll play a nocturne, which is the first nocturne in B flat minor.